You got to remember, training level is just the introduction now. This is the basic beginning. So we don't have to see our extensions, collection, engagement, or anything like that. We need to see whether the horse goes in rhythm. Does it go forward? Is it regular? There are three things that I look for in the beginning of every horse, and even when I start out with the upper level horse, and that's rhythm, suppleness, and then contact. And when I've established a quality of those three things, I go on with the rest.
Like what Michael said, what we want to try to establish is to have a nice rhythmic gait, have nice cadence, don't run them too fast, make them a little bit maybe slower even, so that the rider is able to put himself into driving position and is able to influence the gaits per se in its stride. Quick and fast-moving horses don't have a long step. They shorten their strides rather than lengthen.
One, could you let him a little bit longer in the neck? Let him go just a little bit longer. The tempo is fine. A little bit longer than that is fine. Yeah, that's okay.
So really, as soon as he has reached a little bit down more, I think we will see probably that after a short while, I think the horse will learn to use itself just a little bit more. And he's probably a little bit looking too, but I think with a little bit of a longer neck, he's able to move the horse more into the top line rather than just against something which stops him from going.
Of course, the pole should always be the highest point, but here we're changing this horse slightly, and as you notice, the horse was going on, the neck was becoming more relaxed, and if after you'd spent some time doing this and the neck was relaxed, you'd see that he would carry himself up there.
But I believe also in the schooling, if you make the horse stretch down and stretching to the bit, to the top line, the pole will be a lower point. It depends on the length of the horse's frame. Because if the horse is supposed to stretch down, I believe that the horse should somewhat describe, like you would lift the horse off the ground, it would describe a circle, which means the horse's whole top line stretches. So, and if the whole neck, which is arched like this, now stretches down and keeps that nice bend over his neck, the pole cannot be the highest point. It has to be lower. So, but in general, naturally, if we school and then go to a training session, we want like to be able to stretch the horse as low as possible, if we want to, or take him back up, and the horse should keep his neck just as relaxed in the same manner and keep the pole the highest point. But I think transitions again show the training of your horse. Really, that is what shows where your horses are. A training level horse naturally is not as elevated in his total top line, but you want to see that they have confidence enough to go from one gate to the next without bracing themselves against the reins, without getting faster in their gaits, etc. They should keep their gaits as regular and rhythmic, going from one gate to the next. And that is naturally the important part of transitions. The submissiveness longitudinally, and the horse remaining soft and supple laterally. And the degree of it is the degree of your training level.
Could you comment on the concept of riding with the horse on the outside rein, allowing the softness on the inside rein, and where you start when you work with a young horse, expecting them not to lean on the inside rein, and how it progresses through their training?
Oh, I think it starts the minute you have...
the minute you pick up the reins.
Yes, but there are other qualities that exist before that. Acceptance, bearing, the correct effect of the aid to the leg, to the hand, to the seat. So you look for this when you have acquired some control over those ends and the horse responds, then you should start to look that he is balanced and controlled via the outside rein, so that you free the inside, that the inside hind leg is always allowed to come forward and under. And that's pretty much something that goes on in a time thing. You can pretty much tell when you're riding the horse, you know, geez, he feels pretty reliable now. Hey, I'm going to try it. So you subside a little bit with the inside rein, and he doesn't fall on his nose. And you know it's correct. Then you ride him a little bit more forward, ask him to go a little bit more through and to come up into the bridle a little bit more. And, of course, it's symmetrically, you never have a horse the same on both sides. Never. I've never seen one the same on both sides. I've never had one. You always have one that's a little bit more than the other. And this stands true when you're doing canter pirouettes or doing flying changes or two tracks. You'll always see one side's better than the other, walk pirouettes and so forth. So you need to adhere to that concept a little bit stronger on the side that they are the weakest on. So you may spend more time working that idea that you just mentioned on the side that they don't come as through on.
What we discussed this morning is you cannot take a horse off the rein which he is strong on unless the rider takes up the rein which the horse does not like. And that doesn't mean that you now have to sit there and you have to grab the rein the horse does not want to accept. But you have to make him understand that he has to hold that connection. The horse cannot hold it without the rider. So if the rider is not the one which tries to create it, the horse is not able to hold it either. So what has to happen is the rider has to move the horse from the leg to the rein he does not want to hold. Make sure that he can take a holding contact and then be a little bit more creative and flexible and supple and soft on the rein which the rider likes, which the horse likes to grab too much. Because really in a lot of ways is that most riders in that moment get stuck on the same rein. They have a tendency not to wanting to let go on that rein either.